What's up and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Emory.
And I'm Anthony.
So what you think, Anthony?
Hey, we're talking about straight talk.
No ice, no chase?
No ice, no chase.
No ice, no chase. You think they can handle that?
Let's see if the people can handle it.
See if the people can handle it. So, this has been one of them days, Anthony.
One of those days, Emory.
Y'all know what one of those days are like? I do, because we've had one today.
But that's all right. We're going to make it through, Emory. We're going to give the people what they need and let them meet some nice people and, just give them some straight talk.
Straight talk is what we're all about, right?
That's what this show is all about. It's giving a different platform for different people just to get their ideas and get their mindset out there.
Well, you know what? Sometimes my opinion's not going to match yours, though, Anthony.
That's all right.
And that's all right. Hey, it might not match our watchers either. And that's all right, too, because guess what? You'll be able to call in and give us your own opinion, ask your own questions.
Yeah, this is an interactive talk show. We really want the people to call in, log in, talk to us. We're here for the people. That's what this show is about.
So how about we move on to the next segment?
Next segment. Tell me, what is the next segment?
I think it's called Meet the Artist.
Meet the Artist.
Meet the Artist.
Let's get right into it. Let's get right to it. Well, that's all right, y'all. We're going to work with it. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Well, this time it'll have to be right here.
Number 245-3617 or 3517.
245-3617.
3617. We have 35 up on the screen, but it's 3617, just in case somebody been trying to call in already.
Oh, does this?
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We'll get it right. This is a pilot show, and we're going to work it out.
Well, it happens sometimes. Well, so guess what? We're going to talk to an artist today, Anthony.
Well, we are going to talk to an artist. We had one lined up, but they canceled out on us at the last minute, but that's all right.
That's 2 weeks in a row, last minutes.
Hey, artists in the area said you want a platform, said you want people to know about what you're doing. We're making that happen. That's all we can do is do our part, Emory.
Well, let me ask you this. If our artist that was supposed to show up this evening wasn't able to, we've got to fill in the gap, right?
Yes. The show must go on.
The show must go on. So, you know what? I think I'm going to go on with, I happen to know an artist.
Okay.
I know one or two.
Let's fill it in. We got to keep it going.
Well, how about this? Thanks for tuning in to Straight Talk, No Ice, No Chase. And today our Meet the Artist is going to be yours truly, Anthony. You didn't know I knew you, did you?
Let's let the people know who I am.
All right. Well, so Anthony, you and I have known each other for a little while now.
Mm-hmm.
And I first met you
excuse me,
through a mutual friend that was telling me about a art center downtown or in town called Urban Dreams Community Art Center.
Yeah, that Urban Dream Fine Art Center. Yeah,
Fine Art Center. Excuse me.
Urban Dream Fine Art Center.
So, what is that?
It is.
Is it fine arts because your art's better than everybody else's?
No, it's fine arts truly because this is a place that supports fine art, not just visual arts, but it also support music, performances, and now the new stuff, video and photography. That is a class within itself.
So break down for some people maybe watching, they may appreciate art, they may love art, but they may not understand really what the difference between visual art is and with the comparison of just fine art.
A good example of visual art is something that can be appreciated through visual. By looking at it, a painting, a sculpture, something that you can really appreciate using your eyes. Of course, music, that's something that can be appreciated using your ears. That's kind of self-explanatory. Performances, that gets into like your acting, your poetry, your dancing, just different performances, using yourself as a way of converting art. Letting people know about art.
Well, you said it supports these things. What is it that Urban Dreams does that supports these things? Exactly.
As far as visual art is concerned, I do have lots of donated art supplies that people have donated to keep art going. I mean, everything from
you have donated art supplies.
Yeah, everything from paint, canvases, frames, brushes.
Are you listening?
Yeah,
these things are donated.
Yeah, that mean, hey, it's here for you.
So if you have these things to donate,
it.
this is a good place I recommend donating them because also I think on Wednesday nights.
No, Wednesday afternoon from 4 to 6. Yeah,
4 to 6.
I do a free art class for the youth if they're between 7 and 17 every Wednesday from 4 to 6. I help cultivate them as artists and give them youth motivation.
Okay, so what about the center itself? Can just anybody come down there anytime we want to, or how does that work?
Yeah, the center's open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. I'm usually here at the building, but if not, I'm somewhere close by. I mean, on the barbershop across the street, Ridgecrest Barber and Style Shop. Come see me. But if I'm not across the street, I'm normally here back and forth. But the center's open. I mean, it's here for the community.
So why Urban Dreams, Anthony? Where did you come from that brought you to this place right now?
I mean,
literally this place right now.
Yeah. I was raised right here in Ridgecrest.
Say it's not true.
Yes, it is. I went to Davis Elementary. I ended up going to Cloverdale, but I am a product of Ridgecrest community. I grew up in Ridgecrest.
Gotcha. Okay. So, how did you find your way into art? I mean, what is it? Are you obviously you're an art? I know what you are. You're an artist, but everybody else doesn't know that you're an artist. What kind of artist are you? What is your art?
And I like to describe myself as a fine art artist, not just visual art. I mean, I do paint. My background comes from visual art. I guess you can say I was introduced to fine arts through CPAC. That's Carver Creative and Performing Arts Program. That was Montgomery's public school system's answer to the arts before Booker T. Washington. I mean, now Booker T. Washington.
I went to Booker T. Washington.
You went to Booker T. Washington?
Yeah, sure did.
Not here in Montgomery. Man.
Yeah, sure did.
You did?
Yeah, man. I graduated from Sidney Lanier.
Okay.
And then, but when I was there, I went to Booker T. Washington for industrial wiring.
Okay. Well, now Booker T. Washington, the magnet school, now the art, performing arts, that's what they have now. But that was, CPAC was Montgomery's public school system performing arts program when I was coming up. What we did was you went to your home school, whether it was Lanier, Carver, J.D. or Lee, for your basic class, and then you went to Carver for your art class. I mean, you did 3 periods over there. They bus you to the school and then take you back to your home school. But I went to Carver. So
Carver taught you how to do all this you do here?
Yeah. I mean, yes, George Washington Carver. But I am a product of George Washington Carver.
Well, that's a good thing. It's been since I've known you, it's been a pleasure working with you. You know, we've talked about a lot of different things, and we got lots of ideas, and a lot of those things, of course, they take support of others. So I imagine I've been here, to Urban Dreams enough times to know that not only do art supplies need to be donated, but sometimes volunteers. So if you have a skill, if you have a skill set in a fine art or something, and you would like to teach a class for children or adults, then this is a perfect venue to do that at. And I recommend you getting a hold of Anthony and volunteering your time.
Please
do. Teach a class, because I mean, if that's a blessing in this. It's not just the neighborhood. We can talk about the neighborhood all day long, but just the city in general, because it's not limited to just this neighborhood.
Exactly.
This building is large enough. The uses are multifaceted, and so I encourage you. Come down and check it out. If they wanted to do that, what's your address?
We're located 3860 South Court Street. It's right across the street from Cloverland Shopping Center.
Yeah, and for those of you that aren't sure where that is, you should be able to find WSFA, all right?
Yeah.
And then kind of behind WSFA right there on South Court. And look for the building with the graffiti all over it.
Yeah, with all the art on the wall.
Yes, yeah, the art, graffiti art.
Yeah.
And but so that's the best way to locate it easily. So what else? So Anthony, I mean, that's not all you do, man. You're also you're a hair sculptor. So was that consider you an artist as well?
I'm a barber. I do cut hair on a daily basis, and that is a chance for me to do my art. I mean, I really like to say that I create masterpieces when I'm when I'm working with a person.
I've been over there a few times, and I've seen nothing but happy customers so far. So, if you need your haircut, this is the guy to come see.
Please do come see me.
So, what else, Anthony? I mean, if we wanted to really know what Anthony is as an artist, you talked about what kind of art you do. We've talked about the facility that you share your art with. Which, speaking of which, there is a gallery here that some of the locals have done here.
A lot of local artists, good artists around.
So come check that out as well. But what would be something that you would tell these young artists? Look, like me, for instance. I didn't start until a little bit later in life. Comparison to now. I'm 46 years old, but I haven't been doing what I do for very long. Compared to people who've been doing it since they were kids.
Yeah.
So not just the young who are interested in art, but there's sometimes, just by the nature of life, you find yourself looking for something new and stumble into art. So what would be your first big piece of information of advice that you would give?
Don't be afraid to practice. Don't be afraid to practice. Really kind of embrace the practice side of it. I mean, let's work on your small steps, and just take it step by step.
And you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive easel or paints or whatever. It's just like I do photography and videography, and they tell you that you don't have to go get a big fancy expensive camera to take good pictures. Yeah, the cell phones are just fine. So start with that's a whole genre of photography now.
Yeah.
You use whatever you have at your means, and guess what? Maybe it's something they have down here at Urban Dreams.
Exactly.
And come down here and polish your art.
Don't be scared to start where you are. That's a good.
We need to put that on a shirt.
Don't be scared
to start where you are.
Hey, you hear me, Bridget? Come on.
But
excuse me.
So what's next? What's next for Urban Dreams and Anthony?
Urban Dream. March 23rd, we will be celebrating 2 years. 2 years in business.
2 years.
2 years. We started 2018, and.
Are you going to do a blowout for it or what?
Yeah, the plan is we're getting together the plans for Art Walk, and then that's Saturday. Then later do Sunday we'll go with a day party and end up Monday with the actual benefit concert. That's kind of the plans that we're working on, but you hear more about that later.
Sounds good to me. Well, Anthony, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thanks for coming out and sharing your artist here on the segment of Meet the Artist. From Montgomery, Alabama. And now I would like my other host, Anthony, come back, please.
Take my switch.
There you go.
Okay. I'm back now.
He's back now. So for folks that, this is how things are going. Another artist that's local that is not only an artist, but he and those around him are giving back to the community by providing a place that people can go, not just children but adults as well.
Exactly.
A safe place to go to cultivate their art, cultivate their own art, maybe learn something new, teach something new.
Yes.
So that's a great opportunity for everyone on both sides. So
take advantage of it. Come see me.
It sounds like something we should discuss on Alabama Talk sometime as well.
Exactly.
We'll see what happens with that. Speaking of Alabama Talk.
Oh, okay. That means the next segment.
That means the next segment.
Ready? We moving along already?
Yeah, man. Remember what happened last time? We get to chit chatting and carrying on and disagreeing and whatnot.
Straight talking.
We're straight talking with no ice and no chase. Time flies. And so I think it's time to go on to Alabama Talk,
Let's go on to the next segment.
Let's do it.
Alabama Talk. Here we go. You ready to bring in ready to bring in our guest?
Ready to bring in the guest.
Are we live?
Yes.
We are live.
Yes.
Okay. Well, at this moment, we're going to bring in our Alabama Talk guest of the night. It is the candidate of County Commissioner, Mr. Erick Wright. So out there at TV Land, give it up, clap it up for him, and let's meet Mr. Wright.
How you doing, fellas?
How's it going, Erick? How's it going?
Good,
hey, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. It's great.
Y'all got it nice in here, man.
Thank you.
You walk in, you see all the artwork and stuff. Yeah.
Well, we have a politician in the house.
Yeah.
We did this for you.
I like to say I'm a community servant. Not
Not a politician.
Not a politician, bro.
Let me make a note of that one.
Right.
Community servant.
Not a
I like
politician,
That's good.
bro.
That's good.
That's good.
So so tell us about you. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from West Alabama, Demopolis.
Demopolis.
Yeah. I actually bit my teeth in Montgomery when I moved to Troy and played football there for 4 years. Of course, there's nothing in Troy, and if you wanted to do anything, you had to come to Montgomery.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so a lot of my friends are from Montgomery. A lot of my friends graduated from Lee, Carver, and JD. Like, those are the guys I played ball with. So after I left college and played a few years, I said, okay, I want to move to Montgomery.
Try.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So
up.
I've been here going on 15 years now.
15
Going
years.
on 15 years. Yeah, and
Wow.
I love it.
You enjoy it.
Yeah, most people say
A lot of
they
people
want to
say
get away
nothing
from
to do
it.
in Montgomery.
Well,
It's just
what is it? What is it about Montgomery that sold you on it? Anything particular?
Well, number one is history.
History,
number
yeah.
one.
All right. Yeah.
We do
And
have
you
history.
can't go
Tons of
wrong
history.
with that.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm a big history buff. I actually was a history teacher for 3 years.
Okay.
So history is
I didn't
big
know that
for
about you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, history is big for me. Not only that, I love the people here. Like, the people here they're not like anybody else. When I say that, if they think something, they're gonna tell you. Like, straight up, they're gonna tell
Straight
you.
talk.
If they don't like you, they'll say, I don't like you. And I can appreciate that. But also I saw opportunity in Montgomery. There are so many things, especially on the south side of Montgomery, the west side of Montgomery. There's a lot of opportunity there, and me being a businessman, my eyes lit up.
Gotcha.
I see empty buildings. I see empty lots. I see land.
Yeah.
Well, you've been to my home before.
Yeah.
I have a 15-acre farm right on Narrow Lane Road. So I see that opportunity, and I wanted to jump on it, so I did. But that's what I love about Montgomery: the history, the opportunity that's there if you want to work for it. Like, Montgomery is a place where nobody's gonna give you shit.
Have to earn. You don't have to earn that, and nothing happens fast.
No, it
Nothing
doesn't.
happens fast. But you know what? In today's terms, we get impatient with that because we want it now.
Right,
But
right.
at the same time, but for a lot of people here, it's well, I want to get to know you a little bit.
Right, you gotta put that work in.
We're gonna slow things down a little bit, and where they realize they're doing it on purpose or not, but you get that opportunity to learn about each other a little bit, because it's part of it's that relationship. At least the way I understand it for me. When I've had to dealt with things here or there, that people seem to want that connection a little bit more than just a passing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why I like having somebody like you here, because it brings people back to hey, he's just like me.
Reality.
He's like me.
Exactly. And I hate it when people think if you're in government or you're a politician, like you're
or
like
community
a priest,
servant.
a community servant, like you're a priest or you're a pastor or
Just a
you're
regular person,
above report, but you're not. You're normal. You're human. You have a family. You make mistakes. And what I like to do is allow people to know me, because if you just see me out and about, you may assume I'm a certain person. But as soon as you have a 5-minute conversation with me, they're like, I like that guy.
That's true. I
He's
mean, when I
down
first
to
met him, it just took a short period. Yeah, he's kind of cool. So.
Well, I noticed that. You've run for office before.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, just like we were saying, people here want to know you. And I ran for Congress, and the scope of that was 14 different counties. So I was running back and forth from all the way from Emory County to Houston County, all the way down to Andalusia, and going to see different people in so many different places where I didn't spend enough time in Montgomery.
They didn't get a chance to know you.
Right. They never got a chance to know me personally. And with this current race for county commissioner, I've been here long enough to where after that race, it was like, okay, he's here. Now let me see what he's about. Now let me see what he does.
Well, getting in there that time, did you find it easy to do, or
Well, at first it was kind of difficult because a lot of people travel in packs and groups and sets, and me, I've never been in a clique before. I'm one of those guys. Even in high school, I'm with the nerds, I'm with the jocks, I'm with people that nobody talks to. I'm with the guy that looks like he's a second away from going postal, but I'm his friend. You know, like, so I never traveled in cliques, and it was kind of difficult at first to introduce myself to different groups and cliques. But I've been here so long now. They just, no, that's Erick. He's not gonna shun anybody away. Like, that's Erick. Like, he's gonna show up if don't nobody else show up.
That was your first experience in public office at that level, right?
Yeah, it was.
And it was. I can only imagine you probably learned quite a bit during that period.
A lot.
And I'm sure it was stressful at times.
Really.
And but at the same time, you probably saw Montgomery in a different light.
I did.
And and everything it has to deal with. But what I'm curious about is and when you sat there in that office, and as we know, Martha Roby came in behind you. How did that change? Anything change for you? Leaving office, that, you know what I mean, or your views?
Well,
or
I actually ran against Martha Roby.
Yes.
In 2014. So I never won the seat. I got about 65,000 votes, but I never won the seat.
It was unopposed.
Yeah, she was unopposed for years, and I was the first one to say, I'll run against her, and I did it, and it taught me a lot about politics. It taught me a lot about patience. It taught me a lot about the process of politics, how to gain a campaign team, how to do strategy, how to break down the maps and the locations that you have to go to, what are issues in each area, because the issues in Montgomery are not the issues in Union Springs. Like, they have a totally separate set of problems there, and just having to be aware of all of this, it was almost mind-blowing to see how many people were struggling, how many people were dealing with things and they didn't have that kind of representation, or nobody was trying to help them. And me, I'm a person that kind of takes on people's pain, and I found myself almost being depressed at times, because I was going to meet people, and there was so many situations. I'm like, man, I wish I can help. Man, I wish I can help. And when I lost that race, to be honest, I was depressed for maybe 2 years because I felt like I let so many people down. Like, so many people were counting on me to actually make it and to make their lives better, But when it came full circle, just taking care of myself, getting back healthy. That's mentally, spiritually, physically, getting back healthy. And once I did that, I'm now in a situation where I can run for office, and I can actually make a difference.
So now's the time.
Exactly. Now
is the time. So why county commissioner?
Well, number one, the county commissioners, they're over roads, pavements. They're over.
So that means you're going to fix that road in front of my house?
Right. Go get Court Street fixed.
Right. Well, they're just now starting, and of course it's 20, 30 years kind of too late, because these issues have been around for a very long time, and a lot of the politicians that's currently in office, they've been there the entire time and had the power to change these things.
Why haven't they?
And that is my question, And let me rephrase that. That's the question I'm tired of asking. So instead of me asking, why aren't you doing it, I'll just do it myself.
I get you. I understand.
My kids go to Seth Johnson. It's actually almost right across the street from my home, and we got teachers that work their ass off. We got a principal that works her ass off, but they're still struggling because they don't have the necessary support that they need. And like I heard you guys talking about arts, they don't focus on art enough. Art actually cultivates the mind. It cultivates the mind to think progressively. When you remove art, you make people concrete, and they have no room to grow, develop, or be. There's no room to be creative at all.
Well, at the same time, throughout different offices, or that people have held. You hear people say, very similar. Nothing's getting done. When I get there, I'm going to do something. Mm-hmm. And we all know that it's not quite that easy. It's just waving a wand and hey folks, I'm here. Do that. Do this. Do this. Do that. And done. And now I can go home and I got it done. It's not going to work that way.
Right. No.
And there's always and there's factors that are unknown to us as citizens, and factors unknown to you as not being in the office yet.
Right.
So truthfully, I think that's what, at least me as a citizen, that's what I want to know is truthfully what is realistic? Where's the realistic goals here? What is going to be realistic? What is it going to be? Don't give me goals that are going to be stretched out there that may or may not happen. I want to know realistic goals.
May take 20 years down the line.
And it sounds more.
What are you going to do, brother?
Right.
And making it happen isn't starting it aflow so my predecessors can carry the wand across the finish line. We want to know what you're going to pick up and cross the finish line with.
Right. True. And that's like kicking the can down the road. Mm-hmm. And that's what most politicians do. Mm-hmm. Like I said on the onset, I'm a community servant, so I'm after tangible things. Mm-hmm. It's things that I can actually put my hand on. There's things that we can do right now. The entire state grows cannabis, grows hemp,
mm-hmm.
And you can go to any gas station in Montgomery to buy CBD. But if you ask a police officer, what's the difference between this CBD and what's the difference between this marijuana, there's no way for them to know at all unless they had some way to test it. And we don't have enough money to do that, do we? we don't have enough money to do that at all. So why are we still in this business of locking people up for petty marijuana claims?
Yeah, I've seen other places. There's definitely a push, to change some of that. And of course, we all know Alabama, in general.
Well, that's
it's going to be last
the state.
Yeah,
now,
that's the state.
That's the state. Mm-hmm. Now, in the county wise, we can actually say we're getting out of that business because we have the county full of people that's either mentally, they're not mentally there. They have a mental disorder, or they need help there. Or they're in there for a petty marijuana claim. We can say we're getting out of that business because it's costing us too much money to house inmates. We spend more money on inmates than we do students. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't make sense. We can change that easily. What I propose, everybody pays $50 for a license. You're 21, pay $50. That money goes directly to the school and infrastructure. Fix roads, fix bridges. To open up these closed roads, like you ever drove down Norman Bridge Road, it stops, right?
Excuse me.
It stops. These are tangible things that we actually can do. We have money for roads and bridges. Why do you have a closed road? That causes more congestion on the boulevard, more accidents. Somebody just got hit the other day, because it's too congested. Let's open those things up. Like, those are tangible things that we can do. We can help our school system by funding more in arts.
Well, it's like building. Let's see, how do I want to phrase this? Building, self-esteem. The best way to do that is you take little things, you chip away at it, and when you get that victory under your belt, it builds you a little bit more. Then you chip off another chunk, and it builds you even more.
But you gotta have the willingness.
You gotta have the willingness, So I think, especially because when people step into an office, and there's part of us that feels like, okay, he took office today. I'm gonna turn the news on tomorrow, and something's gonna be new and different.
Damn, it's happening.
And anything, but to be honest with you, I would probably feel better is it doesn't have to be tomorrow when I turn the news on, but at some point when there are milestones that you reach that are that can be celebrated, that you identify, that everybody can identify with, because then it builds us. Not only does it build your support, but it also builds us up as people who live here, feeling better about our local government, better about what they're doing and what they're saying, instead of right now, to me, when I talk to my friends and neighbors, their first reaction is, I don't know,
right?
And I tell you, to get the support that you need the people behind you,
right? Exactly. Well, Well, one thing that I have seen since my 15 years of being in Montgomery is that for some reason a lot of the politicians think that the people work for them, and it's almost an arrogance about themselves to where they're above being approached a certain way, and they kind of forget the roles. And I think if we actually keep the people involved more, to keep them abreast on what's going on, to keep them in the know and to make them feel a part of it, we can get a lot done. But also it'll kind of ease the people's minds to know that something is being worked on, something is happening.
Something's getting
you
done.
know, like we're moving, we're doing something, and that's what we don't have right now. Because there's no way you have a Facebook page and you have, let's say, we're about to build a new building and you're taking bids and you don't put it up there. Like, how are you not letting people know? You put it in the newspaper, but how many people read the newspaper? You know, you can be everywhere when it's election time. Like, why you can't be everywhere when it's not election time? You know, those are some of the simple things that we can do, and it's just reminding people that we're here for you. Like, you're not here for us, but we're here for you, and that's one of the main things that I think that is missing in the political landscape of Montgomery. And you have some few good people that's actually trying to do it, but they're few and far between.
What's the main purpose of a county commissioner? I mean, what is this service? What's the main duty?
Well, the main goal is to make sure that the county commission has a budget that they can fund the sheriff department, fund all county facilities, downtown, etc. So they actually come up with the budget for all of those different entities. So the county commission is very important when it comes to that respect.
Excuse me.
But that would be the main purpose and the main goal.
Well, so how long are you going to be a county commissioner?
Well, the term is 4 years.
4 years,
and
okay.
I plan on serving the
plan on
4
staying
years,
4 years.
completely out. I wouldn't try to run for another position or anything like that. I'm not interested in that. Like, if I wanted to run for Congress again, I could have did it. Martha Roby said she's not running at all. So that was if I had admirations of going to Washington or leaving where I am, I could have do that. Yeah, right. But I want to be here. Like, I didn't buy my farm and start the process.
Right, so you invested in here.
Right. I'm fully invested. My kids go to school here. My home is here. I have a mortgage here. You know. Right. So yeah,
your bill collectors are here.
Yeah, you're stuck with me.
Yeah, right. Well, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll definitely be, especially since we've had you personally here, we make a note along the way and see how this thing goes for you. How does your family feel?
They're excited. They're excited. My family sees politics in a certain way. I guess it's one of those old Southern things where everybody thinks politics is evil. You know.
Well, isn't it?
Well, if you're a true politician, it may be, you know.
To the sense of the word.
Right,
as
to
it's
the sense
become.
of the word. As it's become, yeah, unfortunately. Got a caller in?
No, actually we don't, but that is a caller, but it's a caller in on a separate device. On a separate device, but anyway.
Yeah, but my family loves it, and we really want to see it come to fruition for an actual win, so we can actually start getting some work done, because it has to start somewhere. And if we don't begin the work now, we're just kicking it down the road to our kids, and I don't want to do that.
That makes sense. I
think they deserve more than that.
So, what is or do you have any events coming up, or do you have any anything that's going on that's leading up to the race?
Yes. Well,
through the race.
What I've actually done, and you know how you see normal guys campaign. They go everywhere. They meet everybody. They put on these big elaborate events. I'm not doing that. Every Thursday, I actually invite a group of 10 people to my home to sit down and have dinner with me. And we sit down and we talk about politics. We talk about the future of our county. We talk about things that we can kind of help with in the city, if there are city officials that's there. But these are everyday people, from city council members to just the lady down the street.
Right.
And I want those worlds to kind of combine so they can actually put names to faces, to know that we're all regular people and we all just want to see the best for this area. So that's what I do every Thursday. I make sure I invite them out, and we prepare the meal ourselves. And a lot of the ingredients and things that we use are from the farm as well. So we kind of bring that thing all the way around.
I think we're going to talk about the farm a little bit too, but just as a reminder to everyone, if you would like to, you've heard him talking so far, and if you would like to call in and you have your own questions, or you have your own pushback, maybe, who knows, feel free to do so. The phone lines are open at 334-245-3617. You're more than welcome to do so. And so we're going, once again, you're listening to Straight Talk with our current guest right now is Erick Wright. And let's talk about the farm a little bit, man. Why in the world did you buy a farm, man?
Well, I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but one of the largest growing industries today is farming. And the need for farming and also organic farming is so huge that we can't supply the demand. So that is a total open space there for opportunity, and that's if you work for it. And we started from the bottom. We found land. Once we found the land, we went through the process of actually starting the farm, going to the USDA, getting our track number and our farm number, researching all the grants that we could possibly get. And me and my wife, we're college graduates and everything, and it still was difficult. It still was difficult for us. We were able to get a few grants, and we received a grant to build a greenhouse, and we built the 72-foot greenhouse.
So you say it was tough for you, even though you're both college graduates. Tough in which way? You mean in order to get grants, or to apply for the grants?
Just to find the information. Just to find the information, because none of it is readily available or easily accessible for just the normal Joe.
That's what will be my next question. So if I say, you know what? I feel like owning a farm today or starting a farm today, and I'm just going to go down and dig a hole in my backyard, and I'm going to start a farm. It's not necessarily quite that easy. Right. Well, if you want assistance in doing it.
Right. If you want assistance doing it, and if you want to do it commercially, to actually sell your products, you need infrastructure there. And
so that's the steps that you took. Is all through that to
exactly.
be able to do it commercially.
To be able to do it commercially, and like I said, it was difficult. It was difficult. It took a lot of reading, a lot of researching, a lot of traveling to different locations. I went to different farmers. It had to have been
expensive, a process.
Not so much. Actually, a lot of it is free. To get a farm number and a track number to become a legal farm, it's absolutely free.
Wow.
Who knew?
Right.
So you mean the difference is just knowing where to go, who to talk to, and what papers to fill out. But those are not available to you. And just like I'm running for county commissioner, your county should make that information readily known for you, and actually support you.
Well, whose responsibility is that then? Would you say? I mean, because now when you say that, now somebody has to go out and have to gather the information. They have to organize it and and file it and do everything that's got to be done with it, and then it's going to have to be published and and just all those sorts of things. So ultimately, whose responsibility does that become to do all that and maintain it from there on out?
Well, number one, it's going to be work. It's going to be work, and nobody's going to do it for you. That's first and foremost.
Something you want to do.
Nobody's going to do it for you. But number two, in the county, you should have some kind of outreach program for new and beginning farmers.
Outreach program.
But none of that is available now. Like, that's something that we can actually do that's attainable. And that's just connecting people with the county USDA office, which is here. And probably nobody even knows that it's in the city of Montgomery, but it is here, and just making that introduction just to get the people to where they need to be, because for us, it took us going to meet a farmer out of the county, and we met people in Tuskegee, that told us about all of this, all of the opportunities that were available to us, and they let us know where the office was in Montgomery.
Yep.
So then I went there, I talked to the people there, and it took me a few days of going back and forth because there was so much information. I was trying to organize it. And once I had everything and my paperwork filled out, we submitted everything. It was easy as that. It didn't cost a dime.
Well,
it was just effort.
Anthony, you ready to go start a farm?
Oh, mine's already I've been working on it.
He's already.
I've been working on
man,
it.
we've had this talk so many times.
Yeah.
We've had this talk a lot of times.
Yeah.
Anthony, he's multi-faceted. He's like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
He's just a person.
Yeah.
They say steel sharpens steel. So.
That's right. That's right. It's biblical too. So it got to be something to it, right?
So it's no shock that we met and kind of linked together.
Some of this conversation kind of reminded me of a news story that came across. Some through the state here in around April 2018, and then again several months ago, and some counties struggled with this issue, the infamous poop train from New York that they gathered up. There's a train full of human waste in a train that came from New York, that New York sent down because there was a landfill that they were going to put it in Alabama, and it got stuck on the tracks. In Covington County, I can't remember the name of the county it was right now off the top of my head. But so the locals were complaining about
the smell,
and it was just sitting there. And then so they start calling, everybody in the government. What do we do? Well, we don't handle that anymore. We don't handle that. It's not in our, whatever. So this time, when the train is on its way, the county came up with some new laws. Put on the books or whatever. So that made me wonder about other issues, that maybe doesn't hit headline news,
right?
Like something as iconic as the poop train,
Right.
But I'm sure there's issues from other states, or even our own state that affects counties.
Right.
Is that something that you can see? Is there some truth to that? So it makes me wonder what do we don't hear about all the time?
Well, number one, all money is not good money.
There you go.
All money is not good money. You got to
lesson
know when to say no. And a lot of that stuff you're talking about happened in West Alabama, around Perry County and
I can't think of the name of the city. It was
Uniontown, Uniontown, Alabama. And if you ever pass through Uniontown, Alabama, the smell hits you before you enter the city limits. So you smell it. And to think that that same stuff was seeking to the groundwater, and it's processed for people to drink, that's causing huge problems. Just here, if we're just
thinking right. I'm trying to bring it back
thinking about environmental issues. If you look at a lot of our neighborhoods, especially on the south side of the boulevard, a lot of our neighborhoods used to be forests, so you see a lot of trees. What we have now is too much rain, too much water, and the ground is saturated now, which causes all these trees to uproot themselves. Now you have homeowners, some on the fixed income, some are struggling just to make ends meet. Then all of a sudden, a 50-foot pine tree falls in your yard. Now that's an expense that you have to pay for. Not only that, the roots grow into your pipes. So now you got to dig up your front yard to actually replace your piping. And that's stuff that people go through every 5 to 10 years here. I know because I also own a home in Woodley Park. My home in Woodley Park had 18 pine trees. 18 pine trees in the front and backyard.
Oh, I remember raking.
And when one of those things fall, because they uproot themselves because there's so much water, and the water is not flowing through the city well enough, it's sitting and it's saturating the ground. Then you got to pay what, $2,000, $3,000 for somebody to come cut it up and remove it. Like, who has that money for that expense? And we're not doing enough to make sure the water is being diverted like it should. Like, those are things that people are not talking about, but that's costing people a lot of money. Plus, not only that, you have to have flood insurance. If you buy a home, you got to have flood insurance.
I've been through that before.
So our flood insurance is more than our homeowners. And the flood only takes care of the house. You know, it doesn't take care of anything on the inside. It's just covering the home. So you have all of this. We're in the flood zone. We're paying 2 times as much as we should for flood insurance when the county can just do an assessment. There's an assessment that you can do to show that it's not going to flood or it hasn't flooded in the last 50 years. It'll automatically cut everybody's bill in half for flood insurance. That's something that we can do. That's something that's simple, you know, that we can actually see a return on. But the environment, I'm always paying attention to it. I'm always looking at the little nuances.
Well, Anthony, our time is getting close here. But before we get to that, I just want to bring up one more thing that I found interesting, and see what you got up your sleeve. I noticed that you'd written a book a while back.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you posted a video about the book, and it caught a little stir, caught some headlines here or there. You know, which definitely clever. So what else you got up your sleeve, man? What do we got to look for? You got any surprises there? You don't have to tell us what they are. I know you wouldn't tell us what they are. But just tell us that you got something.
Yeah, like you were saying about Anthony, I'm a kind of do-it-all person. You know, I'm a Swiss Army knife. I currently work for the Department of Insurance for the state of Alabama. Also a farmer, also a father, also own a few businesses.
So do you own a pair of overalls?
You know what?
If not, you got to go get you some overalls, man.
I got some waders.
Okay.
Waders for
right.
water.
Okay.
It's for
All right.
water, you know.
I got you.
But I got some waders.
You know, you got to
They
get the
look like
coveralls.
overalls.
You got to get the coveralls, and you're not quite in that coveralls.
But no,
and
I'm
one
a
leg
jack
tucked
of
in your
all-
boot.
Yeah, I'm a jack of all
One leg
trades.
in your
I'm a jack of all trades. So there's a few more things that me and my wife has been working on. A few publications, books that we're doing. We're doing a set of children's books. Personally, because we have kids that had trouble reading and actually sounding out certain syllables, and we noticed that a lot of the information that was there, or a lot of the books that was there were absent people that looked like our kids. You know, so we wanted to bring that content to them that they can be interested in reading and actually see themselves in the book, but also work on some of those harder words to pronounce. And that I started with a children's book called When God Smiles. My wife wrote a book about natural hair, so it's called Hair Like Mine. Is one of a kind, and that's just giving people that that extra self-esteem that they may have been down about, you know. But that's what we've been doing. So we have 2 more of those coming out. But of course, my brother does music, so I always have my hands in a little music here and there because I love art too. I can't draw worth a shit, but but I love art.
More than just drawing. I mean, art is music. Art
Right.
is performing, speaking, and all that. So yeah, that's all right.
Well, Anthony, unfortunately, it's about that time.
The end of Alabama Talk.
Yeah, well, no, man. We've gone Alabama Talk, and we've wrapped around the world
and all of that.
Yeah,
with Mr. Wright.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was all good. No, I'm glad we had the opportunity because we're getting to show something that maybe not everybody is new.
Right.
And not just the information, but just the people.
Mm-hmm.
And but you know what? I still think it affects around the world as well. You know what
Exactly,
I mean?
yeah.
And because what we do here affects somewhere else, that affects somewhere else, and so on and so forth.
I agree.
The pyramid effect, so to speak. But I'm walking away with something, and I hope you're walking away with something.
Yeah, we hope
and,
you are.
And I'm going to drive away from here as soon as we're done, and get something to eat because I'm hungry.
Emory, straight talk.
I'm
Straight
hungry.
Talk. That's what's up. That's what's
But
up.
you got any good farm food with you?
Oh no. No.
I thought I'd try anyway. I'd try anyway.
So, you did the around the world?
Yeah.
Man,
That was.
What
You want to add something to it?
You have something?
no.
Okay.
I was just gonna throw in my 2 cents on
We'll throw in your 2
whatever
cents.
worldly.
You can throw a cent and a half in.
A cent and a half.
Yeah. We're cheap around here.
Look at that. But yeah.
Yeah,
No, but I really do appreciate you guys having me. I think this is a great platform that you're doing.
Appreciate
and
you.
Anthony, I commend you totally for everything that you're doing in this neighborhood,
Thank you.
because this neighborhood is virtually a forgotten neighborhood in this city, and somebody needs to show that we still care.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that people do try to do for kids and do try to do for art is not accessible. These kids don't have cars. Their parents don't have the time.
To take
So this is a need, brother. This
Yeah.
is a need, and
Exactly.
I'm so happy that you guys are doing this. And whatever I can do to help support, regardless of politics or any position, I'll always be there, even if it's just helping cut the grass.
Yeah, because
or
I don't
something
like
like
putting
that.
your address in over here, and my GPS says, "Are you sure?" but if it's one day at a time,
Yeah.
And we're definitely gonna do our part, I think, and we're gonna get a run. We're gonna back up and get a running start.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
fellas.
and
Appreciate it.
that's kind of what's brought me around here the way it has. Anthony, I think we see eye to eye on a lot of things, or our vision is similar, but everybody is a cog in a wheel.
Right, the
And-
format is different.
Right. Yeah. And but I think with layering it like that, we're able to get some creative things done, and more to come. Because guess what, people? And I'm just gonna say it, Anthony, because this is straight talk.
Straight talk.
No ice, no chase.
No ice, no
No ice, no
chase.
chase. Filmmaking. I think that the culture here is ready for some. People don't realize, and I'm just gonna say this real quick, is that the under. There's an art underculture here in Montgomery that I did not. When I first got here, I was like, nobody does anything around here. And but once I got immersed, because I do photography and some other things, once I got into that area, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like an underground river.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more going on in the art community than people realize.
It's a lot of talented people here.
But you know what? They're having to go to Atlanta. They're having to go to Birmingham to get their stuff out there. They're having to do some of those things. And I think Montgomery, it's time for us to cultivate it right here.
Come together.
Yeah.
Come together. I mean, this is the time for all of us to come together.
And bring it to the survey. It doesn't need to be in the bioducts, so to speak. And I don't, there's a couple places around town that support local artists by hanging their art, and up for a period of time. And I encourage other businesses that are able to do something, like that. Be willing to hang some local artists' work and rotate it in and out, because it creates conversation.
Right.
Now you've got conversation going about stuff you didn't expect, and one thing leads to another.
That's true.
That's my cent and a half about it.
Right.
That's true. True.
But look, man, it was a pleasure to meet you,
Pleasure.
and I certainly enjoyed your time here with us, and it was a good conversation on Straight Talk. No ice, no chase. And that's the way we like it. Hey, people, and one more thing. You guys out there need to get on the ball. I appreciate I'm seeing the numbers, and I appreciate you watching and listening. And those of you who are watching this, as pre-recorded later on, thanks for checking it out. Now remember, hit that subscribe, ring that bell, ding, ding. Follow, like, share.
Next week we want y'all to call in.
Yeah.
Call in, interact.
We're doing this for you, really.
Yeah. This is the interactive show.
Next week.
Oh yeah, next week we'll have Dion Hawkins. He will be our Meet the Artist. That's our invited guest. So
pay attention to the announcements. I know for you, those of you that follow will get the notification, but there'll be information coming out before then. Reference those things. Our artists coming up, and if you notice, you probably don't notice because of the green screen. We're in a different location tonight.
Yeah.
So we're always changing it up.
Now we're downtown. Don't you see it?
Yeah. I took that picture, by the way.
That's all right.
But so anyway, we appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for the support. And we're here to support you as well. So let us know. Leave the comments below, and we'll see what we can do about it. Either myself or Anthony will address it.
See you next week.
Well, so now I got to figure out how this thing works. You know how this thing works, Anthony?